Two questions that I want to ask you in this analysis. Number one, now that Kithure Kindiki is not Ruto's running mate, what do you think, which position do you think William Ruto can offer him? Because when he held a press conference, he said that it might not be interested in any seat, but that was in anger. Question number two, if William Ruto gets 20% or the percentage of votes that William Ruto will get from Kilifi, can you credit that to Aisha Jumwa or Amason Kingi? Those two questions will help us execute this analysis really well. At the end of the day, we will get the answers. Today, Aisha Jumwa gave a press briefing at UDA headquarters in Kilifi, asking Amason Kingi first that the area is a UDA zone and his party is coming third, and so PA is not allowed to field candidates there. Instead, they were asking Amason Kingi to concentrate on campaigning for William Ruto in the coastal region. According to Aisha Jumwa, Amason Kingi is in Kenya Kwanza because she was part of the lobby and she knew everything that was going on, which partly is true, and you will give her credit for that. There is no way that William Ruto was going to bring another coastal leader in the fold without maybe the input of Aisha Jumwa. So what this has really opened a conversation and a debate on the fallout that is happening at Kenya Kwanza. However, let's look at maybe the details of a power sharing deal that William Ruto got with Amason Kingi. One, when Amason Kingi met Deputy President, one was that he was to deliver 50% of Kilifi votes, Kilifi County. Then just that, he will be in a position to get Senate Speaker. Number two was his governor candidate that was vying through PA, that is George Kithi, was to step down for Aisha Jumwa, who is eyeing the governor seat through the UDA ticket. Maybe there were other agreements on the party zoning and so, but that was not fully addressed. I listened to Aisha Jumwa's speech, or rather that small press briefing, and there are some few indications that can be seen there. Number one, that speech was William Ruto's message. Aisha Jumwa cannot call a press briefing on a matter that is also touching on UDA party leadership or UDA party without the consent of William Ruto or UDA headquarters. That is number one thing that you can see from that. Number two is that there is a fallout between Amason Kingi and Aisha Jumwa. That fallout, in my understanding, is being orchestrated by Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. Because if there is an issue, to an extent where Aisha Jumwa is going to speak it in media, then it was intended for public consumption. If they didn't want the public to consume it, then they will still solve it behind closed doors, because we know that William Ruto's type of leadership is, a lot of it is bit of a consensus, and he does a lot of negotiations behind closed doors. So whatever is supposed to go to media, what Aisha Jumwa was communicating was not a coincidence, it was planned and it was to be conceived. Now, there is a reality that is also in that statement, and I think I analyzed in my first video when Amason Kingi joined William Ruto, that William Ruto is not interested in that PA party, and in fact would want a situation where the coast region swings towards the UDA. So it's also a deliberate effort to scramble that PA party. The truth of the matter is that Amason Kingi, even though he's given to be the point man in the coast and campaign the rest of the coast, he can only campaign in some parts of Mombasa, some few wards in Mombasa and Kilifi. and perhaps Kwale when he has the support of Salim Vuria. Now, why do you think Aisha Jumwa, Ruto is delivering that message to Amason Kingi? Very clear that he wants to eclipse Amason Kingi from the key Kenya Kwanza leadership in the pecking order. Why will that happen? I asked a question. Do you think, in your own understanding, and let's just to be honest here, in Machakos, Alfred Mutuez just needs 35% to get a cabinet slot or something. Then in Kilifi County, which is predominantly an ODM zone, someone needs to give 50% of the votes. Then by just one county, that person is going to get a Senate Speaker, a very powerful post. This is what I think. After Rigathi Gachagua and Kithure Kindiki stalemate, I think William Ruto might be having a second thought to deny Amason Kingi that Senate Speaker seat and offer it to Kithure Kindiki. Yes, and it will not be, this is not wild, because even in the current dispensation, Uhuru Kenyatta was the president and the Speaker of the National Assembly was Justin Muturi from Meru, from the other side of Embu. And it has been that way. Now, I think one thing, after Ruto, then Ruto is negotiating with Kithure Kindiki so that he remains in the fold. The decision by Kithure Kindiki to say he's taking a sabbatical leave and is not accepting any appointment in Kenya Kwanza government is one that is warning DP Ruto, because with that it simply means he's trying to abstain from those elections. That's what is happening. So the reason, my theory number one on why Ruto is kicking out Amason Kingi is to find a way to take that seat to Kithure Kindiki if they form government. Also, the reason why that seat might be taken from Kingi is number two, Amason Kingi came to Kenya Kwanza late compared to Aisha Jumwa and Salim Vuria and even Jichopevu Hassan Omar. Now, you can't bring that such person that's in caliber of Amason Kingi and give him that post. There is also a feeling or jittery among the coastal team, especially Salim Vuria, that is being shortchanged. And because of that discontent, there is an inside plot to deny Amason Kingi that position. Why? Another reason why that can be happening, and Ruto will then think otherwise, is the Raila's Joho card, when Joho was appointed that lands ministry. If you think, if you remember when Raila was appointing the cabinet, now that post resonates with the coastal issue in this general election, the perennial land injustices. And I think perennial land injustices, that issue is being addressed by President Uhuru Kenyatta, even if not overwhelmingly, but if you ask me, 60% of it has been addressed. So there are a lot of frictions and jittering in the coastal region about land that was bringing in the issue of is it some rival groups in Mombasa is no longer there. There is a bit of that calm, and it might not be there. So Ruto has realized that that speaker bet on Senate is not a very lucrative one, and so Amason Kingi is not the kind of person that really fits the bill. There is also a likelihood that Aisha Jumwa is feeling that he might lose that governor's seat. And because she might lose that seat to Gideon Mungaro, who is the ODM candidate, she wants to play a critical role in these campaigns and will want to eclipse Amason Kingi, so that even if she loses that seat and she loses the governor's seat, and Kenya Kwanza happens to form the government, she can easily be considered for a position. Although she will be considered, but then whatever the small percentage that goes to the coast, or rather to Kilifi, she will be calling the shots. So she just wants Amason Kingi to come out of the Kilifi politics. Because I would ask her, why is Aisha Jumwa telling Amason Kingi to go and campaign in the rest of the counties and leave Kilifi for her and Owen Baya? While in the coalition agreement, Amason Kingi was told to deliver 50% of Kilifi, not 50% of the coastal vote. It's a very interesting scenario that is playing out there. That tells you that Aisha Jumwa is calling that. Lastly, and I mentioned here that Amason Kingi is not in Kenya Kwanza fully, and maybe William Ruto handlers and the coastal team are already branding him a mole. They're already branding him a mole. And this is just behind the scenes. I was talking to one of my relatives who stays in Kilifi, and he happened to have attended Raila's rally. So remember, after Raila rally, then Amason Kingi also held another event there, and he was sponsored by William Ruto under the Power Party. And he was telling me that the region is more of, he was telling me that, Kevin, it's ODM. Let's not lie, it's ODM, not PA, not UDA. If you talk to people, it's about ODM. Now, Amason Kingi has a very slight loyalty and friendship with Raila Odinga. I know that Amason Kingi is very close to Raila Odinga. So this team are already doubting his loyalty, and they have a perception that, look here, this is the kind of man that will draw, even go back to ODM, because he is someone who was, his political career was shaped by his relationship with the ODM party and Raila Odinga. And that is why William Ruto is critically kicking him out of the inner circle. If you look at the campaigns that William Ruto has gone in these areas, I didn't see Amason Kingi in Kajiado, but you can challenge me, right? Because I didn't watch the whole of it. I know he was not in central Kenya, and he's mostly supposed to campaign in central in coast. And maybe they're inciting Ruto with Kingi that Kingi is not campaigning, and actually, after holding the event in Kilifi, there is no any other rally that he has done. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. My punchline is this: that Senate Speaker seat, William Ruto wants to snatch it from Kingi and use it as the bait to hold Kithure Kindiki. What are your thoughts?